live. Welcome to the Android Headline Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to our show, our podcast number 14. Fasten your seatbelts. It's time to get your droid on. Every week, we talk about the latest Android news and rumors, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sorry. I'm dying. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we killed Chris.
Cold. It can't go off perfectly. Anyways, guys, every week we talk about the latest Android news and rumors, and this week will be no different. This is episode number 14. We're glad we made it this far. We didn't get shut down by Google last week or YouTube, so it's a good thing. And this week we're going to give you the lowdown on Google Wallet. A huge MF-sized phone at 6.1 inches. As well, the HTC J Butterfly DLX Deluxe. And as well, we're going to talk about Android operating system naming stuff. Maybe that didn't come out right, but the naming of the operating systems, how they're going about it, the naming, when they're going to come out with the next version, all that good stuff. And as well, also talk about what's coming up for us next week in New York City. Google's having a live event, which I'm sure all of you have heard about. We're going to cover what we expect to see. And as well, also Tom's going to be covering our 10 best Android tablets of the month as well, and also a little bit of other news for next week. So I would, first of all, before we jump into the show, say hello to our special assistants here. We have, from Parts Unknown, our associate editor, Mike, the Stingray Stinger. How you doing, Mike?
I am doing fantastic. I can't wait for us to talk about the amazing iPad mini.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. No freaking way. It is not part of our show. Do you understand?
Comprende.
Oh, I knew this would happen.
All right, there you go. I think that sets the tone on what we feel about the iPad mini 3. Or whatever the hell it is going to be called. I don't care. Anyways, and on to our next co-host, Alex, the great Maxim from Detroit Rock City. How you doing, Alex?
Pretty good. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad, buddy. And without further ado, the one, the only, Tom the Duke Dawson, coming to us from near Buckingham Palace in the great UK. How you doing, Tom?
Not too bad, not too bad.
How's the weather?
The weather is very foggy, very damp, very cold, and I'm fairly certain that my face will freeze in the night. So
it's not raining. That's a good sign, right?
It's always raining. Come on.
You didn't say it was raining. You said it was damp and foggy and everything, but not raining.
No, true. We've had spots of rain. They forecast more rain.
And more rain and more rain, right?
Yeah, they don't really have to forecast. They don't have to forecast rain.
If you let us know when the sun's actually out, that'll be a bigger news story, right?
Yeah, that'd be really easy for me to do as well.
Okay, weather with Tom Dawson on AndroidHeadlines.com. All right, guys, let's get right into the show today, and let's talk about Google Wallet. The story just broke earlier, and some exciting news coming out of Google headquarters. And our crack reporter Mike here is on top of the story today. What's happening with Google Wallet, Mike? What was the story?
So basically, Google secretly updated the wallet website and basically just said that there's a new version coming soon and you can request an invite and whatnot. So if you go to the website
already have it.
Well, for the new version.
The new version.
Request an invite for the new version.
That's
Now,
the new
as far
improved
as
version.
yeah, as far as what the new version is going to have and whatnot, we don't know. But what's interesting though is when you go to request an invite, Google now asks for with Wallet what kind of phone you're using, and they also mention the iPhone. So there's a good chance that Wallet is going to be coming to more than just Android. You know, the new version is going to be coming to.
I mean, with all the versions of, you know, was it, how do you say it, ISIS is that came out or is coming out now, and that's all the carrier's version of a wallet, and it's supposed to be debuting soon. That is something that I guess Google Wallet wants to compete with, so they're going to be going with more platforms and hope that you know, Apple users and BlackBerry users, well, not that they're available, but may in the future, you want to get more people using the Google Wallet, I guess. Is that what it seems like? Hopefully they're going to be adding some more options to it. Have any of you guys used Google Wallet? I know 3 of the 4 people haven't. Just ask Alex. Have you used the Google Wallet?
I actually haven't.
Wow, you could tell how we are such hardcore Google fanboys here that none of us on this show has used the Google Wallet. You can see that there has been tons of research done for this.
Oh, jeez.
So we don't have a lot to say on that. All we know is Google Wallet is coming soon, and we'll see some new features. Make sure to get your invite.
Some of us will.
What's that, Tom?
Some of us will see new features.
Yeah, I guess in the UK they haven't rolled it out. I guess you guys are not allowed to pay with mobile payments.
No, we have mobile payments if you are...
That's not Google.
Yeah, true. I mean, you have to have like Barclays Bank over here do it. You have like a little sticky you put on the back of your phone, which is nice in 1990s of them.
That's great. A little sticky thing on the back of the phone. How modern could that be with smartphone technology?
Yeah, exactly. But then again, then it'll work on all those devices out there that refuse to adopt new technology.
Well, we'll definitely stay tuned for this. Do you think we'll see something maybe next week, guys, at the maybe at this Google Playground conference that was announced?
Yeah,
possibly
definitely.
They're going to do a soft launch there or something.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense that for them to, you know, roll this out now, saying that there's a new version coming right before the event. I think they'll definitely be talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it'll be one of these things that comes with the LG Nexus, and it'll just be like magically included, and then they'll talk about it for 5 minutes, and then someone will delve into it a bit more, and then we'll find out what's new, what's not.
And no one will use it, just like the old version. Sorry.
Something like that. Or, well, some of us will.
Not you, Tom. Okay.
No.
All right, guys, enough of Google Wallet. It's had its 5 minutes of fame, literally, and that's it. Our next story I wanted to cover is one that our crack editor, Tom Dawson, was covered for us, and it's about this new monster phablet that's coming out. The Huawei, I call it Huawei. Huawei, whatever you want to call it. Hyundai, who cares?
Oh dear, Korean, Chinese, it's all the same.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're from China. They're stealing information from us. It doesn't really matter. We'll probably never see this phone over here. Yes. Shh. Actually, no. The White House cleared them of those allegations. So.
Yeah, to the tune of how many $1 billion?
Yeah, exactly. How much?
Oh.
Okay. So as I was saying, they're working on a massive phablet at a size of 6.1 inches. That is humongous. And I actually have a leak of the phone right here. You see that? Wow, it's amazingly huge. I can't show it to you though. It's a leak. It's a leaked version. You know.
Yeah, phones never ever get leaked, especially in 2012.
That's right. And it could be a fake. But anyways, guys, so it is a 6.1-inch quad-core monster. And this is going to be a Galaxy Note 2 killer in terms of size. 6.1, that's freaking huge.
Yeah, size alone.
That size alone, it's huge with a 1.8 quad-core processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 4,000 milliamp battery. That's amazing.
That's Alex sorted.
I know. And all of that in a thin 9mm casing with Jelly Bean on top of it. It's a shame that we won't see it here. It's a beautiful phone. Who knows? We may see it, but it looks like it's going to be a great phone, especially size-wise. Is that really, though, is that pushing the limits, though? 6.1?
Yes.
Who wants to go first? Alex, how about a 6.1 in your tight jeans? Can that have, is that too much?
It's too big, but I like the battery size.
Yeah. Well, of course you love the battery size.
Just put that battery on my Galaxy Nexus and I'm fine.
Perfect. Now, Mike, I know you're contemplating a Note 2 purchase. Is this too big for you, or do you buy one of these and say, "Fuck buying a tablet"?
Yeah, that's basically what that is. I mean, the thing is, though, the Galaxy Note, and I guess because I've actually felt a Galaxy Note, which is just slightly smaller than the new Galaxy Note 2. And for me, I have big hands, so it fits really nicely. The whole setup is really nice. But okay, the current Galaxy Note 2 is 5.5 inches. This is 6.1. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference, maybe, but I think that just 6.1 inches when there's 7-inch tablets out there, it just seems like it could be a bit much.
See, they're trying to go after that person who's confused whether they should get a smartphone or a tablet, right? So they get
Yeah, but 6.1 inches?
6.
Like, how are you going to fit that in your pocket?
That's great. You gotta have big pockets, no skinny jeans, that's for sure. No tight jeans, nothing like that. You need baggy cargo pants to be having this phone.
Yeah, not a phone for hipsters.
Or you need like a laptop bag or something like that.
Yeah, and two, think how weird it's going to be putting that up to your ear and talking on it. I mean, the Galaxy Note is already big enough, but then putting something even bigger? Yeah, it's going to look something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, hello. And then imagine when you put one of those big thick cases on it, how it's going to be when you drop it. That thing's going to be massive. It is going to be like carrying a tablet around. You just might as well carry your Nexus 7 with you and make phone calls.
Pretty much.
Tom, how about that? You want that phone or what?
I have two things to say about this phone from Huawei. One, the specs aren't quite as good as they make out because it's the KV3 processor. Yeah, that's right. Whatever Huawei are calling their next
that's their own in-house made salad dressing. Processor.
Yeah, which sounds admirable for a company to make their own chips. But the problem here is it's clocked at 1.8 gigahertz and it's quad core. So that basically means it's a Cortex A9. Which means it's already behind all of the S4 Pro devices coming out with Cortex A15. So,
but I don't think
the
people that
technology
buy this phone are too caring very much about the processor speed.
No, you're right. But when you're buying a phone that big, you expect it to perform somewhat near your laptop. And the second thing I have to say is that if I was going to buy one of these phones, I would buy a case that had it looked like a piece of gold bullion, and every time I took a phone call, I would put a piece of gold bullion to my head, and then I'd be fine.
Okay, now I'm actually kind of interested in buying the phone because if I get like a gold-looking bullion,
bit of gold bullion.
Oh, just think how big you're gonna look walking around with this thing, the biggest and the baddest smartphone on the planet at 6.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a guy who has like a big, huge Ford truck.
Don't say that word. We can't have that word on the show. Anyways. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something else.
No, what I was trying to say is when you see a guy with a huge truck, a lot of people think he's compensating for something. So if someone has if some guy has a 6.1-inch phone, people are going to think he might be compensating.
So they're going to say, "What's that in your pocket?" Just a large phone. Are you happy to see me?
Yeah,
Right?
see, we talk about tight jeans. You know, go too far the other way, and it's gonna run loose. You're gonna look a bit suspect. That's all I'm saying.
Awkward. Yeah. Exactly.
Good
Just a
one,
quick-
Huawei. Good one.
Quick note: last week, Mike had talked about a new phone coming out called the Oppo Find 5. Now, some of you guys may not know who Oppo is, but they're one of the very high-end DVD Blu-ray maker, and they're, I believe, based out of Europe or China, Japan, somewhere foreign from North America. Anyways, no need to get into specifics where they're located, but this is one beautiful-looking phone. Mike, you did the story on that. What did you think of that phone?
Yeah, so basically, Oppo Find 5, has a 5-inch screen, but what's different about this is it has a full HD display, so 1920 by 1080. So we're looking at and the PPI is like 441, 443, something like that. So it's a really nice display, and also the post I did about it, there was also some leaked photos, and it looks really nice.
I'd buy that phone. That is one hot-looking phone, like literally. I mean, other than the buttons on there, they could take the buttons off. We don't really need the buttons, but I mean, it's 5-inch, nice size. You know, the 1920 by 1080. That means I can watch all my Blu-rays on my phone. Not quite, but quad-core processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 12 megapixel, camera. But check out the size on this thing: 6.9 millimeters thick. Wow, that thing is like thin. Actually, you can't even call that thick. 6.9 millimeters thin. That is like transparent. I won't even be able to see it.
Turn it sideways, it disappears.
Yeah, I do wish it had a slightly bigger battery. It's only, I mean, 2500 is still good, but like the Galaxy Note 2, it has a 3100. So.
I know.
What processor is in that?
That's a Qualcomm APQ8064 in it, which I believe is the S4 Pro or just
Yeah,
S4.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But either way, check it out on our site if you're looking for a new phone, especially if you're in Europe. This thing's going to cost 16 gigabyte versions. It'll be about $475, 32 gigabytes, 520, reasonably priced. It's a beautiful looking phone. You take a look at this phone, you'll definitely want to buy it for sure.
And also, you can't forget that if you're someone who likes to take a lot of photos, it's going to have a 12 megapixel camera. So
amazing, great phones. It's nice to see, someone who's maybe not a high-end phone manufacturer come out with a really top quality phone like that would put some of the major manufacturers to shame. This goes to show. All right, guys. Our next story I want to move on to here is last week, late at night, in the dark of the evening, Tom Dawson was scouring the internet and found a great story about the HTC J Butterfly, a 5-inch 1080p that is just beautiful HTC phone. Now, Tom, give us the lowdown on this phone. What's the specs? What are we looking at with this J Butterfly here?
Well, we have an SLCD 3.
Beautiful
display.
Screens, by the way, were produced by Sharp. Have some of the best displays.
Which runs at the beautiful 1920 by 1080 Full HD resolution with a 440 PPI density. And it's got the Qualcomm S4 Pro quad core at 1.5 gigahertz, 2 gigabytes of RAM, an 8 megapixel rear facing camera, which will record 1080p at 30 frames per second. Comes with Android 4.1 with Sense 4 Plus on top. NFC. Now this is where it gets a little bit strange. It's 9.1 millimeters thick, and it only comes with a 2,000 milliamp hour battery. Well, 2020. 2020 mAh if you want to cut it, if you want to be pedantic. But
what's up with
9.1 millimeters thick, and it comes with a battery that is only 200 milliamp hours bigger than the one in my One X, which coincidentally is 9mm thick.
Oh my!
So well done, HTC.
Such last year's spec for the battery in there. I guess they didn't get the memo. But anyways, not to put the phone down. If you take a look at this phone, it's definitely a little bit outside of the design realm of the
It's beautiful.
typical HTC devices that we've seen. It's looking mighty sharp. It's got still a little bit of that HTC One look, but more color, more pizzazz. I'd buy this damn thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say usually I'm not into different colored phones. I just like white or black phones, but the red, it looks really nice. Yeah.
I think we should all get one at Android Headlines, get the red version, get our logo on the back. We would be styling with this phone.
So HTC, if you're listening, hook us up.
That's right. Alex,
UHTC.
what did you think of this phone, Alex? The battery, Alex.
Everything.
You like everything?
Except for it's only in Japan.
Well,
well, that's true.
That is kind of true, and I think that's what the J stands for, obviously. Japan only, the Japan butterfly. What happened to the HTC One naming scheme?
Perhaps the Japanese don't like it.
I don't
Either
know.
that, or perhaps HTC have finally realised that they're never going to be good at a unified marketing scheme and have just given up.
Well, I guess a HTC One naming scheme is only for North America.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa.
I guess you get it over.
No, I think the best brand that HTC have had when it comes to Android is in fact the Evo and Sprint, because whilst it's only exclusive to Sprint, the Evo line serves its purpose so well. You know, you say Evo, oh, I'm getting an HTC Evo. You say Evo, you know it's an HTC, you know it's on Sprint, you know it's going to be a high-end device.
Why don't they just name them all Evos?
Well, because then Verizon wouldn't be happy, AT&T wouldn't be happy, Metro PCS, well, whoever else would not be happy. And then they'd all have to buy each other. Oh, no, wait, they're doing that already. No, they'd have to... No, you can't do that. You couldn't do that.
Okay.
No one does that. Even apart from Samsung. Oh, no, wait, Samsung manage it, yeah. So,
HTC just loves only putting these out on certain carriers. And speaking of certain carriers, now we were talking about how this beautiful HTC J Butterfly, and we're all like drooling over this phone. I don't know why they wouldn't put it out here, but maybe they are, kids. Maybe they are. Because over the weekend, our staff member from the Asian area, Delaware, had done a story on the HTC DLX, leaked images spotted out in the wild, you know, and as far as the name, they call it Deluxe, DLX, whatever you want to call it, and it looks exactly like the Japanese counterpart. Now, maybe not as much color in the leaks that we got. Android Central had took the pictures. Unfortunately, they were poor pictures. Android Central's famous for that. But anyways, hopefully we'll get to see a few more pictures of it. It looks like it's going to be going to Verizon as possibly a Droid Incredible X or DLX, Droid DLX, who knows what the naming is. But the specs are all the same, exactly the same specs. So this phone is going to be coming to North America via Verizon. So you will be able to get it as long as you go to Verizon. You guys are like, what? It's like...
Meh.
it's ridiculous.
Nobody has anything to say. That was the crickets, by the way. So you guys are not going to go to Verizon for this phone. You all love it, but not enough to go to Verizon for it?
Correct.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not moving.
And this goes back to what we complain about every week, and hopefully some guy retard at the HTC marketing department is watching this, because you need to put your phones out on all the carriers, because people don't want to just switch to Verizon just to get your phone. And if you think about it, put it out on all 4 carriers, and you increase your place in the marketplace with more devices out there and more people buying them. So, you know, I hope they get the memo for next year that when you have a cool, awesome phone, put it out on all carriers, sells more, and you don't go in the hole or potentially bankrupt or having the government bail you out.
How
You'll
dare
never see
you? How dare you use logic, Chris?
I know. Who am I to tell them
You will
what
be
to
punished
do?
by this.
Who am I to tell them what to do, you know? We're just
You'll
a
never
bunch
see
of
it.
guys on other carriers that will not be buying an HTC device. Well, maybe Tom will. Oh, Alex is actually, he's thinking about getting an Evo.
Yeah.
Out of necessity.
And he's got an HTC device too. So you guys all buy HT devices, right? You just won't switch carriers to do it.
I mean, I'll get a different phone here eventually that probably won't be HTC. But when it comes to switching away from Sprint, I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
I have to
you know
say,
what?
I'm with Mike. I mean, you know, I don't, obviously, I know that the whole carrier situation in the States is a lot worse than it is over here, but I've been with the same carrier for 6 years now, and I'm going nowhere. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes 3G penetration in buildings is pretty poor. I don't have LTE, but I get unlimited data. I get coverage everywhere, pretty much, in the UK. Can't complain. Got a free phone, unlimited everything.
Perfect. Well, hopefully, Mike, you'll be able to see maybe this phone come to Sprint as an Evo Deluxe or J or Butterfly or something. We'll call it the Evo Butterfly.
Because I'm sure Verizon would love that.
Yes. Well, you know how it is. You know, HTC makes specific phones for specific carriers. You know, I can't wait to see the Metro PCS version of this, and the Clearwire version of this, and U.S. carriers.
Sorry, you mean the T-Mobile version?
Yes, and the T-Mobile version, which will come out at $100 more than everyone else is selling it 6 months later.
And then it will be on Sprint's network, and then eventually you'll be able to roam with SoftBank.
Yes, to Japan, just like the Butterfly J. All comes full circles, guys. All right, I think we've taken that far enough, and I think people will be happy for us to move
Roam your
on.
Butterfly.
I'm telling you right now, that soundboard is going to be the death of this show. I'm just putting it out there.
It's going to be the death of this show?
Yes.
What, are we going to get banned by G Plus or YouTube, or people would just be, I can't have that soundboard anymore, these guys suck balls?
I think people's
They'll
heads are
make
just
they'll make a soundboard out of the fails of you using this soundboard. That's how bad this soundboard is.
Oh, man.
You'll be the only person to be soundboarded using a soundboard.
All right. All right, guys, let's get on to our next topic before we lose any of our viewers. Actually, probably no one tuning in now after the soundboard effects, so it doesn't matter anyhow. I wanted to talk about, and I was a little fumbled here, about the new Android operating system that's coming out. Is it going to be Android 4.2, or is it going to be Key Lime Pie? I want it to be Key Lime Pie just because I like the dessert names. I love the dessert names. 4.2 sounds fucking boring. Let's go with Key Lime Pie. Sounds great. So what do you guys think? I mean, everywhere everyone's calling it 4.2, so we probably got to go with the masses, follow everyone, and stop calling it Key Lime Pie until it's officially called Key Lime Pie.
Well, yeah, usually when they change it, when they go to the next version of Android with a new name, usually it's like a huge update, and 4.2 just isn't an incredibly massive update.
But didn't they say Jelly Bean wasn't supposed to be huge, but yet they named it Jelly Bean?
Yeah.
Okay. I know who needs to be technical about these things. All right. So let's get a poll. What do you think it's going to be, Alex? What's the name? 4.2 or Key Lime Pie?
I think it's going to be Key Lime Pie.
All right. I went for Key Lime Pie, but now I'm starting to wonder. Mike, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards it just being an update.
4.2 Jelly Beans.
Jelly Bean 2.0, I don't know. whatever.
Jelly beans now. Okay. And Mr. Tom, the Duke, what's up?
Android 4.2, juicy jelly beans. That's it. Sorry.
Juicy jelly bean.
You know, you can't go to, you know, you've not got enough code to go to the next letter. Just throw in another J.
Okay. All right.
Build numbers with 2 J's. JJB. Sorted.
So you guys all think that it should be, then, except for Alex, think it should be just jelly bean update. Shouldn't be key lime pie. Is that the census we got here?
I can feel it. I can feel another Android 2.1 sort of thing going on.
Alex, why do you think it should be key lime pie?
I think it's just going to confuse regular users having 2 version numbers that are jelly bean.
Okay, that's a good point there. I'll comment on that with a point I want to get to in a little bit here. The last major version of Android was 4.0 last year. We got Jelly Bean in the summer, which was 4.1. So technically, Jelly Bean should have been 5.0, no? Would that not have made sense if that was the major update?
Well, I don't know, because, you know, 4 was, you know, 4 was yeah, exactly. So I think maybe Google have finally woken up, especially under the you know, under the leadership of Matias Duarte, that you cannot, as much as we would all love them to, you cannot make Android 4 every 6 months. You can't, you know, and
but I mean, if it's 4.1, what's the difference if I call it 4.1 or I call it 5.0? It's a new.
well, because like Alex says, that would suggest
system with enough changes in it could have been 5.0. No.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the way versioning works, and they've been doing it for a long time now. Is a point release is something that has, you know, has added features, but is sort of visually and sort of like, you know, you can feel that it's sort of on the same kind of lines. But if you look at Android 4 and Android 3, it's, you know.
And I understand that, but why wouldn't they, you know, to make it easier, call it, you know, ICS 4.5 instead, right? Why did it have to be Jelly Bean? Why confuse people with the name of lettering?
You know, it's Google. You gotta have fun with it. You know, I mean.
Okay, fair enough. Now, if that being the case, right? So this next version is going to be just another incremental update. Shouldn't they call it something too?
Yeah, they should. But then again, this is Google, and
they do whatever the hell they want.
Well, they've done that. They did it before. I mean, think about it. Eclair was 2.0 and 2.1, and then 2.1 update 1. So
Froyo, you know, gingerbread.
Yeah, you see, but you know, 2.0 and 2.1, both Eclair. They're going to do it again. I can feel it.
Mike, what do you want to say? I can see you just gnawing at the screen.
Yes, actually, I just now got a confirmed update.
From where?
I'm sorry, but I cannot disclose my source, but I can tell you that 4.2 will in fact be 4.2 Jelly Bean. It will be sponsored by Jelly Belly.
Whatever.
That's what I am being told right now.
Oh my God.
Oh, here comes the sound. You see what you did, Mike? You see what you did,
Mike? Every time you go there, you're going to get a soundboard. All right, so
that would be so good.
So I hear where you're coming with that. Now last year 4.0 came out. This summer came our Jelly Bean. Okay, so this is going to be Jelly Bean update again. Now, aren't they missing a device upgrade cycle in terms of naming? You know, isn't this supposed to be the next big version every once a year? So technically, was Jelly Bean the big version? Was that the big
I think so.
in the summer?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're not going to see another big version coming out until next Google I/O. Is that where the feeling is?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I think they're starting to work on like a TikTok sort of thing, whereas Android 4 was the tick, and then 4.1 was the talk, and we're gonna have a tick. But I think the tick is gonna be in like the Android 4 4.0 series, because it took them a long time to get tablet and Android, Android on tablets and Android on smartphones together and Android 4. I don't think they want to do anything that would sort of create a situation where there was two sort of major revisions of Android. Because how strange was it to have tablets running Honeycomb and phones running 2.3 that not only looked the same but acted differently, and it was terrible for consumers. I mean, you walked into a store and you'd say, "Oh well, I want the phone. I want a phone with the latest version of Android. Oh, that's Gingerbread. Where you can have a look at this. Oh no, I thought it was Honeycomb. Oh, well, that is, but it's for tablets, and So I don't think they want.
So I mean, it does make sense for them to maybe get on to a different way of announcing these operating system updates, because they were kind of throwing them out. Last year was thrown out at a Samsung event, which really didn't really give great features to it. Where if they do it at the Google I/O, they have tons of Google fans there. Everyone's expecting it. They can show it off a lot better. Gives them a lot more time to work on it as well too. So it does make sense to drop the new OS during Google I/O. But it also poses some other challenges that you're not going to see the new Nexus devices with the latest operating system. You're going to see it with the latest update, not the latest operating system. You'll get the newest update or newest operating system at Google I/O. They'll push it out to those phones, but you'll only be getting the newest update. So maybe that's going to slow down some of their Nexus sales potentially. Do you guys think that could happen? Crickets. I'm going to go to the cricket board.
I was waiting for someone else to go. Potentially.
Potentially.
But kind of going back to the whole topic of it, is it going to be Keyline Pi or what? I think it's just way too early to all of a sudden, okay, we announced Jelly Bean in June, and a few months later, now we're announcing Keyline Pi. That's just gonna confuse people, especially the holiday season when a lot of people are going to be getting new phones. I mean, they're going to be like, oh, yes. I want Jelly Bean. But wait, Keyline Pi's out now.
And I agree with that. There's too many versions coming out. And it is already, one thing that is a knock against Android is that, for the average consumers, they don't like all these updates because their phone manufacturers aren't pushing them out, and it's hard to keep up. There's like what 2-3% or something, whatever, some stupid number that's running Jelly Bean as is. They can't go throwing another version, so they're just throwing an update out now, which will probably help because instead of people saying, oh, there's the new Keyline Pi out and people are still on Ice Cream Sandwich, they're going to feel like they're 2 versions behind and then something comes out at I/O. Instead, it's just an update, where maybe the mentality of some of the consumers will be that, oh, it's just an update. It's not a big deal. It's not the new version, right? I need the new version, but the update's not such a big deal.
Yeah, and I think Mike makes a very interesting point, because when you come up into the holidays, especially now we've got to remember that Google is pushing the Play Store and the Nexus 7. Now, the Nexus 7, I think, pretty much, is going to remain. People that are going to buy the Nexus 7 aren't going to necessarily worry at this point what version of Android's out there. But if they release a high-profile release, LG's a new, LG's going to be a new person with the Nexus, is going to get some coverage. If they released a new version of Android that was 5, or even if it was 4.2 Keyline Pi, and it had quite a lot of new features and new polish, and even if it had some extra visual changes that made it look different, people are going to think, oh, well, I was going to buy an Android thing this year, but I might wait and see what comes out next year, because what's the point in buying one now if it's going to be behind? But if it's just another reinforcement to 4.1, they're just going to think, oh, well, it looks the same, and I don't need this, and I don't need that. I can wait.
Good point. Good point. Valid point. Alex, did you want to chime in on what you thought on that?
The thing is if they wait for just find phones that have Keyline Pi or 4.2 on it, they're going to keep waiting, because by the time that hits phones that aren't Nexuses, you're gonna have the next version on its way.
And
So it's like a never-ending battle.
it is. I mean, and that's one of the problems where, and that has to do with the carriers and the manufacturers as well too. A whole big mess. We've gone into that before. We won't go down
It's
there.
Verizon's fault.
But let me throw this out to this equation, guys. We're only getting the Jelly Bean update, okay? The new phones that are going to be coming out next year, CES, they're going to be selling them with the Jelly Bean update on it, right? That's going to be how they're going to be selling the phone. They're going to say, oh, this new beautiful phone here is going to be coming with the latest Jelly Bean update, right? That's how it's going to be going. Okay, well, by the time the phone actually makes it to market, because usually a CES phone doesn't get dropped until, let's say April, latest April, May, June is when they start, hitting the store shelves. Well, then we got a Google I/O conference that's going to be announcing the new operating system, the new version, right? And that's going to be the latest version. So you're going to be buying these new phones that they're going to be putting out or saying they're coming out during CES. They're going to be dropping in early spring. They're only going to come with an update on the phone, not the new operating system that Google's going to announce in June, right? And that's going to pose a problem because all of those guys are all going to want that new operating system, and they can't have it for at least 6 to 8 months at the rate that the carriers go. And that was kind of the good thing about Google dropping the new operating system in the fall, is that the carriers and the manufacturers were able to show off at CES and Mobile World Conference the new operating system on the phone, and then it would drop, onto the new devices that were coming out in the summer. People were all happy to get their, the newest version of Android on it, and that would be a large thing to sell. So now people, this might change phone sales where you might see people waiting till later, till the fall to buy their next device, Android device, because it doesn't have the new OS on it.
I think the reverse.
Conspiracy theory.
I think the reverse is true of that, because look at Android 4 launched on the Galaxy Nexus last fall, and then we had CES, and we had a slew of phones that were still running Gingerbread, and Sony are the big case in point. Now, Sony don't mean a lot to the States because they've tried and failed and pretty much given up. But over here they've done. They're quite big over here, and the phone launched eventually with 2.3, and it launched. By the time it launched with 2.3, Android 4 was on the 1 series, because when they released Android 4 in the fall, it was too big a jump for their partners to get it onto prototype hardware for CES. So all the phones at CES came out with 2.3 because of the big jump from 2.3 to 4. So they didn't have anything new to show off because they couldn't muster it in time. Which is why you didn't see anything running Android 4 apart from the Galaxy Nexus for a very long time, because it was too big a jump.
Okay, fair enough. And I just wanted to throw, some different scenarios in the situation, because it's obvious that, I think Google's got to come with an update once a year. Google I/O is the proper time to show it. And a small update in between, like we're going to see probably announced this week or next week, is the right way to go. Is going to change up how people complain about, not having the newest operating system. It's an update, maybe save some of the stuff. Give them, a little bit something to keep them interested, but save it for the next one. This is how Apple does it, and it's kind of how it's got to get done. You can't be dropping these operating system, updates like crazy. It's just too much to keep up with as is. Us as Android lovers, we love it, but you know what? If your phone's not going to get it anyways, for like 6 to 8 months, is it really a big deal? And especially if it only brings such a small update. Okay, enough about that, guys. We beat it to a dead horse. I don't know if I made my point, but it was fun talking about it. Guys, let's move on to our next topic, and it's all the things Google has in store for us next week in
Dun, dun, dun.
New York City. Yeah. Now, what we have going on next week is a slew of stuff coming at the Google Playground event. They call it the Playground. The Playground is now freaking open. 4.2, whatever it's called. We're just going to say 4.2 because that's what it's going to be. It's supposed to be dropped next week. And on the OS itself, who knows what's going to be on there. Hopefully some surprises that we haven't talked about to death already. Good chances there will be on there. There's some stuff that we've kind of came out over the weekend that they're going to introduce content in the center, which is allow access to the Play Store right from widgets, and tablet sharing as well too, and multiple logins. Will suit families, enterprise users, and it's a simple way for their users to toggle back and forth between their email and apps, or so the kids can't look at dad's porn or whatever it might be. And it's going to be kind of like the Windows type of thing, where you can switch, log off, and all like that. And there's also talk about the panoramic camera settings for those who love taking pictures, and nothing really earth-shattering. Definitely not worth being called key lime pie. I would think that there's going to be more to this update. That would just be my feeling. What do you guys think on that?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more.
What do you think, Alex? I know you've covered this pretty extensively. What else do you think you're going to see in there?
I don't know particularly what else we'll see in there, but I do think there'll be more.
Well, of course you know particularly. You know all the details. What would you like? What do you really want to see that you think they could slip in?
I want to see the multitasking redone to make it easier to multitask, which it sounds like that's what's going to happen with the Windows user switching.
That'll definitely be a bonus. Do you think we're going to see anything in terms of UI changing?
Not anything big, maybe some minor things, probably more Project Butter, but it won't be a big overhaul like 4.0 was.
Well, no, that definitely not. That was like just crazy. But is there anything else that you'd like to see in there besides? We had talked about all kinds of stuff. I mean, Google Now is probably going to get updated for sure. We've already seen some notification stuff leak out as well. Gmail, some improvements to Gmail, we know that for sure. The UI improvement for bigger tablets. With the Jelly Bean. The keyboard is also as well supposed to have a little bit of updates in there too. The profile feature on there. It doesn't sound like anything earth-shattering, but Google always drops something that no one's heard or talked about. So that'll definitely be a surprise in there. Something for all the geeks to love. Any other thoughts from the rest of the peanut gallery, Mike or Tom, on what you might think might roll in there?
Well, I think the quick settings that were, I guess they were leaked recently, where you get a lot. It's a lot easier to access all your settings instead of having to go to, hit the button and then settings and then do all that stuff there. So that'll be nice. Although I am very much looking forward to teleportation in the upcoming version.
Yeah, that's coming for sure too. Be able to teleport to wherever in the world. All right, Mike. Now, Tom, what do you think? Is there something we missed, or did we pretty well get it all?
I think we pretty much got it all, but I do think that we will see some more gesture-based stuff thrown into Android 4.2.
All right. Okay.
There will be. I envision a soundboard that will be controlled by gesture and not buttons.
All right, guys.
And on that note, I will catch everyone later.
All right.
Oh, no.
That was funny, Mike.
You didn't have a
All
soundboard
right.
to back it up, though.
His gesture. Okay. All right, Tom. Now, we also are going to be talking about next week on the show about these new Nexus 7 devices that are going to be dropped, 32 gigabyte versions. They've already popped out into the Staples stores. People have somehow managed to get one, and they were over the interweb on the weekend, and 32 gigabyte option is confirmed, showing on the internet with a receipt and everything, so that's pretty well guaranteed. Now, that's obviously a Wi-Fi version that was out, so there's going to be a Wi-Fi version. Now, there's also talk about the 32 gigabyte 3G version. How exciting. Is this something
I would love that.
you would love, the 3G version?
Oh, yeah. I mean, realistically, why would you take a 7-inch tablet from Google, this internet company, everywhere with you, when you have to rely on Wi-Fi hotspots, which are notoriously money-grabbing schemes that monitor your data anyway? So why they didn't put 3G in there in the first place? Now, obviously, I think they wanted to launch an affordable tablet outright without any caveats or anything when they launched it. But I think a 3G. I think the 32 gigabyte Wi-Fi version at the same price as 16 is going to piss a lot more people off than.
They can't do it. It's got to be a 32 gigabyte plus a 3G radio in there. That is not selling at $199.
No. If they added another model of the Nexus 7 to the lineup, that's not going to, with 3G. I don't think that's going to piss anybody else, off as much as, I bought my 16 gigabyte version a month ago, 2 months ago, or I bought it last week and now you're selling me 32 gigabytes for the same price. They're going to be more pissed at that than giving them the choice of 3G. I mean, I know a friend who just bought one 2 weeks ago for 16 gigabytes, and I told him, you can go get it from Argos in a couple of weeks for 32 gigabytes. He's like, are you fucking serious? It's just like, because I mean, realistically, that is twice as good a tablet almost. I mean, it's the same tablet, but you've got twice as much as a main component of the tablet for the same price. And
we've seen in that leak, they sold it at the same price as the 16 gigabyte version, right?
Exactly. Crazy.
So yeah, that's a little bit of a pisser for some people. But hey, that's what happens when you're early adopters. You see, when you jump the gun. You wait 6 months, price always comes down.
Google are now appling people.
You should always wait to buy new tech. You shouldn't get the stuff as soon as it comes out or a new tablet.
That's not going to happen with Android users. But if you're complaining about it, then you should have waited, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing here is why don't you just? I don't know, but I just think
lost the train of thought. He's old man.
Yeah, that's right. I do think that there needs to be a 3G version of the Nexus 7, and I think if there isn't one soon.
So the 32 gigabyte version Wi-Fi will be at $199. What is going to have? No, sorry, at the $249. So the 16 gigabyte version is going to go down to the $199, right?
Yep. The 8 gigabyte version is going to be gone.
What are they going to do with those things? Are they going to give them to third world countries?
I think what they're going to do is they're going to drop the price and try and sell them all out.
Is that going to be the $149 tablet, or is that going to potentially be the $99 tablet? Which I don't think so. I don't think that would be losing money.
Yeah, because I mean, Asus probably have a crap load of 8 gigabyte NAND chips lying around the warehouse somewhere, but I somehow don't think they've got a load of IPS displays and Tegra 3 system on chips lying around.
No.
It's not the same.
So they're probably going to take the stock that they have, mark it down to $149, come and get it as fast as you can. When it's gone type of thing.
Yeah.
Which if they do that, then I'm going to get the 8 gigabyte Nexus 7 because I don't need storage really. So.
And I for some people they don't. I mean, I don't really use a whole lot of storage on mine. I got the 16. I probably could have lived with an 8, to be honest with you. a lot of the stuff I'm doing now doesn't require that, you know, and unless you're doing games or huge apps, there's not a lot of apps that suck up that much space. So,
No.
Alex, what do you think this $99 tablet? You think we're gonna see this, or no? That's far off.
I think if we do, it'll be a 3G tablet that'll be tied to a 2-year contract with whatever carrier Google decides to put it on.
And we hear that this is supposed to be made by some company we've never heard of before, some manufacturer, some cheap knockoff guys who are paying people 50 cents an hour to build it. I don't know. Anyway, no, that's not true. I'm just saying that. Okay. All right, guys. And next week we're also rumored to be seeing the Nexus 10, which is surprisingly not going to be built by Asus. It's going to be built by Samsung, 10-inch device, 25 by 60, 1600 resolution, 16 by 10, 300 PPI on it. And this is going to be the new iPad competition. And, you know, quite a few confirmations have come out on it. And I heard through the grapevine that you could actually potentially see the quad-core A15 chip in that, which is a monster.
Well, I don't know why it wouldn't have that, because this is the flagship tablet. I mean...
Well, it depends on the price now, Mike. It depends on what they're looking to price it at. They could go with the older quad-core processor and not the state-of-the-art A15, which is going to be a top-of-the-end processor chip.
Yeah.
And
the quad-core Exynos will just be...
Either way, whatever specs they put, whatever hardware they put into the Nexus 10, it's going to have more up-to-date specs than the upcoming iPad Mini. So.
Oh, sure.
You just had to get the iPad Mini in.
I had to.
I wanted to throw that in. He's so excited. He's going to be covering the live event tomorrow, and we will have all the details on our site. No, that's not true. We will have no fucking details on the iPad Mini on our site, except for maybe a couple of articles slamming it.
Perhaps a comparison with the 16GB Nexus 7.
Yes, and of course it will not win against the Nexus 7. It will lose every time, even if we have to lie to you.
Basically, if you want a more expensive 7-inch tablet that has last year's specs, go for the iPad Mini instead of the Nexus 7.
Yep. With a shitty 1024 by 768 resolution, because that's the only resolution they can
like
use.
Acer or something. We have tons of Android products that have shitty specs from last year that they're still selling on the store shelves. You don't need to buy.
I own one of those.
But Apple's going to reinvent it, so it'll be the best iPad ever.
Magical.
It'll change your fucking lives.
I'll tell you what will be magical is the Nexus 10 with a quad-core Exynos 5250. That would be...
That's going to be a beautiful tablet. Now, how many of you guys... Alex, I think I heard whispers from your neck of the woods there out in Michigan. You're thinking about possibly getting one of these? You're gonna trade in the 7-inch and go up to the 10?
Yeah, I'm thinking about either going to the 10 or going to the 32GB Nexus 7, depending on the price of the 10.
Where do you guys? Good question. Where do you think that? Where do they price this 10-inch device? Where do they put it? Because the 3G device, right? The Nexus 7 32GB 3G. Now that's not going to be priced at the $249 level because they got that 3G radio in it. So what are they going to have to bump that 7-inch up to $299? Is that what's going to happen? You think for the price on a 3G 32GB 7-inch?
Yeah, I think
or $275 maybe.
Yeah, I think that's correct for the 3G version. But for like the 10-inch Nexus, that's definitely, I think it's going to be like $399.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They could go with $249 with 4GB version. No, not to throw everyone off. They will have the 8GB version, I'm sure, for much less. No. They got to get rid of that 8 GB storage because no one's going to actually use it, right? So throw it in some Nexus 10 models. What do you think, Alex? What do you think the Nexus 10 is going to roll? We're probably going to see, what, a 32 GB version. Possibly it would be smart to maybe go with 16, 32, 64. What do you think? What do you think the market's calling for?
I'm thinking 16, 32, and 64 because people are saying even a 32 and the Galaxy Nexus isn't enough.
Okay, so you think there's going to be 3 versions of memory available for this?
Yeah.
Okay, is that just wishful thinking? What do you think, Mike?
No, I think there's definitely going to be 3 versions, and Google clearly has learned from their 8 GB version of the Nexus 7. They realized that was a huge mistake because the software alone takes up like what, around 2 GB, so you're left with like around 6 GB, and for a lot of people that's not enough.
5.93.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let's have a consensus on the pricing. Or at least an idea on what we think on the pricing is going to take place for the 16, 32, and 64. I'm just going to throw it out there: $299, $349, and $399, just to be simple like that. What do you think, Alex? What's your pricing scheme?
I'm thinking $349, $399, and $449.
Oh my God, you're expensive. What are you? Asus or something, or Motorola throwing up prices like that? What do you think, Tom?
I'm going to go with your prices.
Go with mine. Don't you copycat.
No, because no, we also have to figure out where it fits in, where a 10-inch tablet fits in with the new Chromebook. Because now that's selling on the Play Store. You know, think about it. Why buy a 10-inch Nexus when you could get a Chromebook, which is essentially a cut-down computer?
No one buys Chromebooks.
Look,
doesn't have Android on it. That's why.
Yeah, but when you go from 7-inch to 10-inch and the Chromebook's only 11.6 inches, you think, oh, well that has a keyboard and the battery lasts a shitload longer. You know, when they're selling them side by side, you've got to think.
You can't put Android apps on it. Who the hell's going to want to buy that shit?
It doesn't matter if you're selling them side by side. You know, think about it's a 10-inch tablet. What do people do on 10-inch tablets? They browse the web, they check their email, they play the occasional game. They find out games on 10-inch tablets are, and then they get bored of them. So,
don't go killing the Google's tablet sales already, Mike. What's your pricing idea?
I just have a hard time seeing even the 16 GB Nexus 10 being priced under $300.
The what?
So
the 10 at 16 GB, I have a hard time seeing that under 300.
Yeah, that at $299, I have a hard time seeing that.
But they want to sell these. I mean, we had a hard time seeing a 70.
But at that price,
$199.
At that price, they're going to lose a good chunk of money. I mean, at least with the Nexus 7, they make just a little bit, and then they make up for it with the ecosystem. With $299 10-inch tablet, 16 GB, they're going to lose money on each one. But hey, if they want to gain market share, then sometimes you got to.
And they'll make money on the advertising. They don't care about the hardware, right?
Right, and there's a good chance that they'll just make their money back and then some with Google Play.
And now that the report came out today that Samsung is no longer going to be supplying the evil empire Apple with products, Samsung has a lot more leftover stock that they can supply on these Google tablets. So the price of the parts have just came down incredibly today. So they definitely could buy in bulk and get cheap prices.
I think
in the business.
I think if it's a Samsung-made tablet, think about it. Samsung can make the panel. They can supply the chip, make the chip, supply the battery, they can supply everything. So they can make it for cheaper than Asus can, because Asus don't have to go, oh, NVIDIA, can we have some chips? And, oh, so-and-so, can we have some RAM? And so-and-so, can we have some displays? Because Samsung do it all. You see? So cut down on overheads and shit.
Yeah, and as far as the rumor that Samsung's going to stop displaying, stop supplying displays to Apple next year, it definitely seems legit, considering we're hearing more and more about the Nexus 10, and it's kind of it has the very similar, as far as the resolution display. It kind of makes sense that they would, leave Apple and then they would just take those displays and put them in the Nexus 10.
Well, I got this other theory about why they'd be stop supplying them. How about 1.1 billion reasons why? And all these
That and the fact that
lawsuits every other day, bullshit patents. There's another reason. But no.
Well, that and the fact that Sharp have already started supplying screens for the new iPhone and so on. So I think Samsung can now actually say, we don't want to sell you screens anymore because Apple don't want them. So they can actually grow a pair when no one's going to be using.
All right, guys, we beat the Nexus 10. We're going to be talking about it next week on our show. We'll get to that in a minute. And finally, the Nexus 4. We beat this phone to death. The only thing we're waiting for is this phone to actually launch. And thank God, so I don't have to talk about it anymore.
I'm telling you.
Okay. So, phone's coming out. We know that. Everyone knows that. And today, some LG guy from India, who's probably fired by about now, confirmed during a conference of the Optimus J that Google will be releasing the LG Nexus next week. And what else can I tell you? There's not much surprise left in this, and everything else is pretty, unless it's hidden. I think we pretty well beaten this one to death. Not much left to talk about it. Hopefully it doesn't come with an 8 GB of storage. It's just too little.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because it just really does not make any sense, especially when it comes to high-end phones, 16 GB minimum is standard.
Well, Mike, actually, I'm thinking 8 GB is going to be fine because I don't plan on installing any applications on it.
Well, yes, but there's more people want 16 GB over 8.
So you need 300 megabytes for Angry Birds. You need 20 megabytes for... You sorted.
Yeah, I'm screwed. But you know what? If they get the price down low, say they put it at $299, I'll buy an 8 GB version. I'll buy it. I don't care. I'm getting into the cloud storage world. I can live with it. I got everything on my 6-inch phablet anyways.
Well, no, I know. Like Mike says, it'll have to come with 16 gigabytes. Otherwise, it's a complete waste of space.
True. How about they just make some options? The 8, the 16, the 32, the 64. Price it accordingly.
Gig.
Let the consumers decide what they want.
128 gig LG Nexus.
That's right, with expandable storage for an additional 128 gigabytes.
Screw all that.
256 gigabytes of space.
No, screw all of that. 512 GB version. That's what I'm looking for.
Screw that. I want a terabyte.
Yes, terabyte SSD.
Exactly. Exactly. Now we're on a roll.
A terabyte SSD that will just be like, hello?
All right, guys. So I think
basically the hard drive, a terabyte hard drive in a phone would give off enough heat to like cook an egg.
I just need a hard drive. I just need a hard drive and a 3G modem. I'm good to go.
A 2.5-inch SATA thing strapped to your ear. That'd be great.
That's right. Now, I think we pretty well hit up everything that's going to be dropping next week. Of course, there's going to be a surprise. There's always a surprise at these Google events. And I have the insider information that no other Android blog in the world is going to be able to tell you. I have obtained exclusive images of the latest Nexus product that you will be able to purchase next week. And you only heard it here on AndroidHeadlines.com. And that information is that next week, Google is going to be releasing the Nexus Q2. I'm serious. The Nexus Q2 is coming. Okay.
Not only did you troll with the soundboard.
Wait, all kidding aside, though, since they took back all the Nexus Qs and stopped selling them, I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out with the actual Nexus Q that has way more features than just what it originally had.
I don't think
the real Q, please stand up.
I don't think they can call it the Nexus Q. I think it's going to have to be like the Nexus R or something because the Q is falling.
Just get a big wheel, Wheel of Fortune for alphabet.
Okay. No, but in retrospect and true honesty, I do believe we'll see something special next week. Google always likes to throw a little surprise out there. Maybe it's going to be some glasses. Maybe it's going to be something else. I don't have no clue. I have no information on that, or none that I can speak of. But I think we'll see a surprise next week. And next week, we're going to have our special Nexus Spooktacular Edition. Right around Halloween. We got all kinds of tricks and treats coming for you next week. So make sure you definitely tune in. It's going to be a great episode. We're going to have so much to talk about. Chances are it could be a supersized episode, just trying to get through everything. Worst case scenario, it bombs in the show in the last 15 minutes. But hey, tune in. It'll be a great show no matter what.
Yeah, because on October 29th, we're going to have 15 minutes to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tom. Tom has a special feature that we cover every month, and he has the top 10 best Android tablets, our monthly power rankings, letting you know what the best rankings were for tablets for the month of October. These do not include devices that are not released, are rumored about being released, or still haven't made it out of the fake image category. So Tom would like to start off with that. Tom, start us off with the number 10 tablet. What is it?
At number 10, we have the questionably named Samsung Galaxy Tab 7.02, which came out earlier in the year with a lackluster dual-core 1 GHz processor, 81632 storage, 1024x600 LCD.
Don't bore them with those shitty specs, Tom. Let's just
it's not good. Although
be off the list by next week, anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. But I will say quickly, if you can pick it up cheap, there are a number of accessories out there for it. So if you need a keyboard or whatever, go for that.
Okay.
At number 9, we have the Toshiba Excite 10, which is basically a Tegra 3 Android tablet with a 1280x800 10.1-inch screen.
Beautiful looking tablet.
It looks good, but it's basically every other tablet ever.
Okay.
Number 8, we have Acer's Iconia Tab A700, which, despite being extremely thick, packs a 1.3 GHz quad-core Tegra 3 and a very nice 1900 by 1200 IPS display and a fairly massive 9800 milliamp hour battery, but it's an Acer. So
Alex would love that. He would love 9800 milliamp battery. Alex is drooling.
But it's an Acer, so don't drop it. And number 7, we have Asus's Transformer Prime, the TF-T01, which we all know and love from the end of last year. It's the same old tablet. If you can pick one up nice and cheap, it's still got some wonky GPS signals, but with an unlocked bootloader, you can have all sorts of fun with it, and you can plug an Xbox controller into the laptop dock. So
perfect.
And below that, at number 6, we have the Transformer TF300, which is basically a cut-down version of the Prime, with in more plasticky type shell. Which, whilst that sounds like a turn-off, GPS
great selling point,
works.
Tom. Sales will be going through the roof with that.
Well, no, it's worth mentioning. Whilst it sounds like a turn-off, GPS actually works, and your Wi-Fi will perform properly.
Okay.
So, and at number 5, we have Sony's Xperia Tablet S, which did a lot better last month, but due to some issues they had with manufacturing, where they discovered a fault that could develop a gap between the LCD panel and the front glass digitizer.
What are you doing putting faulty tablets on our list, Tom?
Look,
they've said that
they've halted sales. They've They've halted sales of the tablet, and if you ever have the problem, if it ever comes under, the screen comes in contact with water, and water does appear inside on your LCD, send it to Sony. They'll send you a shiny new one that's fixed, and they should be back on sale soon.
Awesome. What's next?
Number 4, we have Samsung's Galaxy Note 10.1, which, if you must use a pen in 2012, this is the best option.
Got a nice quad-core processor.
Yep, it's the Exynos 1.4 GHz with a pretty decent graphics processor, 2 GB of RAM, the same old 10-inch 1280x800 LCD, and apart from the S Pen, it's a Samsung tablet. So.
Awesome.
And number 3, we have ASUS's TransformPad TF700, the Infinity, which is an expensive thing of beauty, with a quad-core Tegra 3 clocked at 1.6 GHz, a beautiful 1920 by 1200 Super IPS Plus display, and it's a transform. Basically, it's everything the Transformer Prime should have been.
All right.
And
what's next,
rounding off, number 2, we have Amazon's Kindle Fire HD, which, whilst is a controversial choice because it uses a bastardized version of Android, the hardware is pretty solid. It might only come with a dual-core Ti UMAP 4470, but thanks to the much improved GPU that performs 250% better than the GPU found in the Galaxy Nexus, the hardware is really quite capable. And it comes in a 7-inch version with a 1280x800 LCD, or an 8.9 with the 1920x1200.
Can I say something, Tom? Interrupt you. We don't condone Android forking on our site. We don't believe that forking is a good thing to be doing. Spooning is okay. Forking, no. But
so
Amazon sells a shitload of these things, and that's great for Android. So we let them on our tablet list. Otherwise, they would be the redheaded stepchild and would never be seen on the power rankings.
And at number 1 is the iPad Mini. Yay!
Yes, the
liar.
iPad Mini. The Google. Wait, the Google. No, it's the Google Nexus 7. Although, as Apple would like you to believe, people will be buying the Google Nexus 7 mistakenly.
In droves.
So get ready for the upcoming lawsuit with Google versus Apple. You keep selling the Nexus 7 as an iPad Mini, even though you were there first.
Exactly.
But seriously, though, the Google Nexus 7
always the best. Will be the best.
It's not going anywhere. Let's be honest. A 7-inch tablet
might move up a couple of slots though when the 10 comes out.
Well, that all depends on price. I mean, let's be honest.
We'll see.
Best bang for your buck. Quad-core Tegra 3, beautiful screen.
All right, guys. I'd like to thank
Nexus.
Thank you for the top 10 tablets, guys. If anyone at home wants to check out those power rankings, they're always on our site every month. Tom takes care of that, and as well as smartphones. Check out all the latest devices. Because remember, if it's not on the store shelves, it's not on our list. No sense of telling you about phones you can't buy. All right. Well, sometimes. So anyways, guys, as I said, next week, our Nexus Spooktacular, when Google goes crazy, drops a shitload of stuff for us to talk about. Gonna be like Christmas all over, except for it's gonna be Halloween. So it's gonna be lots of tricks, lots of treats coming from Google next week. Thank you all for joining in, and make sure to check out our site for more information on the stories you've heard here today. And that's it for the meantime and in between time. That's been the Android Headline Show. Thanks for tuning in, guys.